And we are back on another episode of the Writers Game podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, 7-time published author, CEO, and founder of the Writers Game, where we help experienced professionals and high-level executives and entrepreneurs write, publish, and profit from their book. I am so excited that we have made it to part 4 of our 4-part series where we're talking about how to write your book in 30 days. All this month, we've been going over how do we determine our outcomes? How do we choose our audience? How do we write and structure our content? How do we unpack our story? What content is important and significant, and what content do we wait to throw into the next book? What are all of the possibilities from our book? And in this week, we're closing this series out because we're going to be able to leverage a specific model that we have mastered within the Writers Game to be able to help you accelerate your writing, get this done within a week's time, and be able to send it over to an editor to get it published. All right. So last week, your homework assignment was to break down your chapter content. If you weren't here with us last week, go back to part 3, part 2, and part 1, binge watch those series so that you could be able to be caught up in part 4. Okay. But last week's homework was to create your chapter content. And if you were giving a 30-minute presentation, if you were giving a 30-minute presentation to your ideal audience who we chose in part 1 of this series, what are the chapters? Like, how would you open up? How would you, what are some activities that you would include? How would you close? How would you engage with them? How would you captivate your audience? All of these different things. What questions would you present? How, what are your objectives that you would have? And then to put together 30-minute presentations per chapter. Okay. Now, if you have done this, you are ready for today. If you have done this, you are ready for today. And if you want to continue to follow along, then do so. But before we continue, I want you to like this episode, share it with somebody, comment under it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, so let's get to it. So oftentimes we are so old school. We have our old ways of doing things, and that is okay. When we want to write the book, when we want to type the book, when we want to, put it in our notes and all of these different things. But this is the day and age of technology. So we have to leverage technological tools and softwares to be able to advance our overall writing. So when we think about a quote by Harriet Beecher Stowe, she said that I did not write it. God wrote it. I merely did his dictation. And that's simply what we're going to be doing. We're going to be dictating our book, leveraging transcription tools similar to Otter, similar to Dragon, similar to Trent. There's so many different platforms out there that you can leverage, but I recommend Otter as my #1 platform. And you can click the link in the description to go directly to the Otter platform to be able to record yourself delivering the content and then allowing the software to transcribe it. Okay. So how we're going to do this, I have a specific model. I share it in the Writers Game book, The Business Behind Your Story. Click the link in the description and grab a copy of your book today. And if you have any comments or questions or feedback throughout our conversation today, I want you to be able to ask them. I'm here. I'm an open book, literally. All right, here we go. So first, again, is to identify a platform. So tools such as Otter, Mint, Dragon are amazing tools that offer both free options and affordable subscriptions. So we want to be able to understand which platform works best for us. I know, and we recommend at the Writers Game Otter. It's one of our #1 tools. In my opinion, it's done amazing work. There is a free option, and there's also a paid version of the tool as well. And you can look up and review the different features that will be accessible once you actually are on the platform. So first is to identify the platform. Once you go on and log in and create a login for your account, now it's time to create the environment. The reality of it is that when you are in an environment, maybe at a coffee shop or even at a library, in your office, at home, there may be other distractions, noises, and there may be other things that get picked up if you were to start recording yourself talking. And it's going to mess up the overall dictation and transcription of what's being communicated. So you want to be able to ensure that you're in a quiet environment. If you are at a library, go to one of their quiet study rooms, and you want to be able to deliver. What I would recommend is potentially finding a podcast studio. What I would recommend is leveraging a space in your home where it's going to be quiet for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And those are the environments that you want to be able to have, because it's going to give you the best possible experience in your transcription of your words. Okay, so that's #2, create the environment. #3 is to prepare your content. What I wrote down in my book is if you were teaching a workshop or a training for 30 to 45 minutes, how would you organize the content in a way that is cohesive, clear, and impactful? How would you pause after questions or provide specific activities, stories, or exercises that you can do? The same is important when you're speaking your content. All right. Now, when I'm on here on live, I know the content enough where I can kind of just deliver it, but it's taken me years to be able to get to this point. When I first started speaking and delivering workshops and presenting, it wasn't as crisp, it wasn't as clear, and it took me a while. And truly, if you're an expert in your craft, if you do a really good job leveraging the steps that we gave in part 2 and part 3 of this series and organizing your content, part 4 should be fairly simplistic and fairly straightforward. Okay, so now we want to be able to, again, prepare your content, get everything organized, leveraging our Oreos method, leveraging our driver method that we gave to you in last week. Get your hook together, organize your thesis. What are your key takeaways? What is all of the chapter content that you're integrating inside the message, and then be able to bridge into the next chapter? If you were to sit down for 20 to 30 minutes and you were to just deliver this content effectively with excellence, that would end up potentially in 8 to 10,000 word count, dependent on how fast or slow you're communicating. Again, an average book is, let's say, 30 to 40,000 word count. That'll get you an 190 to 200 page book. That is enough to position yourself as an authority or a leader. And then all you have to do from there is get it edited, clean it up a bit, send it over to an editor, and get it ready for publishing. All right. So these are the different things that I don't want you to miss. All right. So once you have prepared your content, now it's time for you to do what? It's time for you to dictate and teach it. So on the Otter platform, all you have to do, and it's funny because it's up right here. All you literally have to do is log onto the platform. In the top right of the platform, there's a blue button that says record. I'm going to click record. Then another box is going to come up. Just hit allow. And then whatever it is that you communicate, it's going to pick up. So as you begin to communicate your message, add your pauses, add your questions so it can pick up the question marks, and communicate your message in a way where you're delivering the content. Now, I'm going to give you a quick hack. I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to give you a quick hack. If you record yourself on Zoom, delivering the content like this, going through your specific chapters, and you have Otter up, and also you can leverage Zoom to be able to connect to Otter as well. I'm just going to say that. Then once, let's say you have 10 chapters. Let's say you get through all of your chapters where you're recording it. Now, what you've just developed is 10 video modules. Now, you potentially can get those video modules, edit them or chop them up a little bit, depending on what you want to do. You don't have to chop them up, and you can upload those as a master class together as a bundle. And once your book is available for purchase, that can be your first upsell for $297. So let's say now somebody buys a book for $20, and then you upsell them to this video series of the specific chapters where you're going more in depth on the chapters. Now their lifetime value increases, your customer value increases from $20 to almost $320. And now you're able to get more from your overall, the value of your customer. Okay. So I'm just going to put that out there for you. So the beautiful thing about recording yourself as well as getting the audio recording is that you get the words as well as you create evergreen content, which means you have content that you're able to use over and over again over a period of time that you can leverage in a course, in a masterclass, in a digital product, in any specific way, so that you can continue to educate, empower, and equip your ideal reader and audience with the information that they need to be successful. Okay. So I just wanted to give you that quick hack. So once you finish the transcription, the next step that we have down is to upload and transcribe it. So what I've done at times is I go on my phone. Hold on. Let me log in. I go on my phone right here. I find the voice memo tab right here. And then literally I click record. And let's say I'm teaching my message just like we're teaching a message today. When I'm done, I'll click the stop button. And then I can take this version and I can upload that to the Otter platform, to the Trent platform, to the Dragon platform. And over time, let's say within 30 minutes, it will transcribe all of the different words, all of the words. And then I leverage that and then move that content over to a Google document or over into a Word document or over into a Pages document or whatever document software that you like to use. Okay. So once you have the content organized and uploaded based upon what you teach, now it's time for you to edit the content. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm a perfectionist. I like to get things out. I like to get things done, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well. So what I do is I take the transcribed content, I go to a platform called Grammarly, which is another amazing platform. And this is, again, before it even goes to a professional editor. I go to a platform called Grammarly. I upload the transcribed copy directly to Grammarly, and then I just go on and start clicking and let them clean up the transcribed version before I start going in and cleaning up sentences and bringing things down and all of, because that takes time. I let Grammarly do it, another software. Okay. So Otter's number one platform. Grammarly is our second platform. Okay. To just clean it up a bit. And they focus on a lot of different areas. You can create, it could be you want to focus on more so informing people, describing. There's different variances that will allow you to be chosen in regards to how you want your overall text to be edited on Grammarly platform. Okay. So send it over to Grammarly. Once it's done on Grammarly, take that, copy it, and then throw it in a Google Doc and then label the Google Doc, let's say chapter 1 or introduction or chapter 2 or chapter 3, whatever chapter it is that you're on. Repeat that process for all of your chapters. Now, dependent on your time, your level of expertise, your ability to write or edit, at this point, you are able to find a professional editor. You could leverage the Upwork tool. You can come to the Writer's Game. I wouldn't necessarily leverage Fiverr, but you could leverage Fiverr. You could go to different platforms online. There's a lot of different places that you can go to find a quality editor, okay? And if you need help, comment below on how you find a quality editor. And even if it's not one of ours, we will definitely send you different places that you can send a quality editor, okay? A book editor. And you want them, at this point, you're ready for it to get sent off. Now, me, again, I want to have eyes on my content first, because by the time I send it to editing, I want my book so clean that the editor takes it from what I feel is good to great, instead of what I feel is iffy to good. So if you have the capacity, what I would recommend is now, since it's cleaned up from Grammarly tool, you go through it and you start updating it, changing it, making it sound better, because now at this point, all of your thoughts and all of your words are down on paper. Okay. So this is the same strategy that I use. This is the same exact strategy that I used to write this book, that I literally used to write this book. I went to the Bahamas. I sat and I transcribed all the content. I was able to get it all done in 1 week. Then I came back and I leveraged the Grammarly tool to clean it up. Then I went in and I started rewriting content and started cleaning stuff up and chopping stuff and throwing stuff out, deleting stuff, moving things around. Then at that point, we got the full manuscript and then we got it formatted. And then this book came. At that point, I then went through it. Let me show you something. I went through it and then it became this. So all through this is all of the edits that we took it through. On each page where the pink or the blue is, there's different edits. There's different things that needed to be done throughout the book, things that needed to be changed, things that needed to be updated, graphics, as you can see here, insert paragraph break here. There's so much that needed to happen. So at that point that I updated it again, then it got sent to our team's editor. And now, because I wanted it to be almost perfect before I even sent it out to an editor, so that editor can take it from what I believe is perfect to actually excellence in perfection. Okay. So hopefully you guys are following me. Put comments below, ask your questions, but hopefully you guys are following me. So if you went through this process and you're ready to send it off to editing, send it off to editing. If you want to go through it one more time, set a date, a completion date, so you don't spend another 2-3 months creating or editing your book when somebody could have finished it up in 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. So once we have the manuscript complete, you're officially done. The series could be potentially over right then, but I'm not going to let you guys go out like that, because there's a few different tools and a few different essential things that you need to be able to get through your process. And I know this series was all about just getting your book written and how do we write our book in 30 days. But again, I want to teach you how do you publish, all right? How do we take this book that is already written and what are some of the essential tools that we need so that we can get this book published? Number one, write this down. I want you to comment ISBN, your ISBN number. What I identify ISBN, I'm not going to give like the generic Webster dictionary, definition. I look at ISBN numbers, which is this number on the back of the book, the 16-digit number, I believe. This number on the back of the book is like the social security number for an author. This is your book. And that's the ISBN is the social security number for your book. It's pretty much the unique identifier that identifies this is the content of this book and it connects to this specific book. I recommend you go to myidentifiers.com. The company's name is Bowkers, myidentifiers.com, and grab an ISBN, as well as what you see on the back here is a barcode. The reason that I tell and recommend and advise any author to have a barcode on the back of their book is why? Because you want to get your book in bookstores. You want to get it in Target. You want to get it in Walmart. You want to be able to position it in the marketplace. And I've never seen a book in a bookstore that is purchasable that doesn't have a barcode. Okay. So you just want to have that additional resource, and that is an essential tool as a part of getting now your book published. We have now written the book. The book is complete. So now how do we get this book into the marketplace? So an ISBN is number one. Number two is obviously the book cover. We haven't even covered book covers. I'm not going to go in depth on all of the different things that you need to have in a book cover. But what I am going to say is this: book covers are judged. All right. You are judged by your book covers. So I'm just going to give you 4 questions to ask yourself. Does my book cover stand out? Does my cover have a clear focus? Does my cover indicate what the book is about and who it is for? Does my cover tell a story without me? Does it? Does my cover tell a story without me? All right. So these are different things that you have to have. A book description. You have to have a book description. And I break down in my book on page 77 how you write line by line a book description. The next thing is you want to be able to have an author bio, a short 3 to 4 sentence author bio on the back of your book. Okay. So the book description would be here. The author bio would be here. A get connected would be here. So my LinkedIn, our website, and then a QR code so that you can get access to more resources as well. That barcode and that ISBN. If you're working with a book designer, because there's a difference between a graphic designer and a book designer, we would recommend front, back, and this is the spine. Okay, this is the spine. Now, I know for some people it's like, Kyle, we already know all of this stuff, but some people don't. And I want to be able to over-educate so that I can over-equip you so that you don't miss steps. All right. Another thing is you want to be able to have obviously your book title. How I choose book titles is your book title is your hook. It draws a reader in. The subtitle for your book is the description of your book. So I'm gonna give you an example. The Writer's Game. It's like, the business behind your story. So what is my book about? It's teaching you the what? The business behind your story, or how stories can, build a business from your story. All of these different things. If you look at specific books, then the title draws you in and the subtitle communicates what it is about. All right. What it is about. All right. So let's get to it. So as you think of these essential tools, the next step is a publishing platform. Stop just publishing your book on Amazon. Yes, it's great. It's quick. It's free. It's not the best platform. It's not the best platform. If you want to be able to have global distribution of your book, we recommend the Ingram Spark platform. It is the best platform out there. Yes, there's Lulu Press. There's so many other platforms out there, but I recommend Ingram Spark. It'll get you access to Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, Target, Walmart, all types of different places. Once your book is positioned on Ingram Spark, and it'd be $49 to get your book published through the Ingram Spark platform, then go over to Amazon, leverage the ISBN number that you got for your paperback. And I'm going to say this: if you're getting an ISBN from myidentifiers.com, like we recommended earlier, you need an ISBN specific to each version of your book, okay? If you have a hardback, a paperback, an electronic version, that means you need 3 ISBNs. For each version of your book, you need an ISBN. If you have an audiobook, you need another ISBN, okay? So you're gonna have to get 4 from myidentifiers.com. I recommend just paying the $295 or $395, I believe it is, and getting 10, because if you create additional versions or additional books in the future, then just get the 10, and now you're able to essentially choose the books or connect the ISBNs to the specific intellectual property. So once you've done all of this, then go to the Amazon platform, use and copy and paste your ISBN over onto Amazon where it asks you to, create all of your logins, and then at that point, you're ready to hit submit and publish. Usually within 24 to 48 hours, you'll be ready to publish your book. It'll send you an email from Amazon, say, hey, your book is live. Also on the Ingram Spark platform, it'll take a little bit longer, but it'll send you an email. If it needs to make changes, a lot of changes that usually need to be made are what? The cover. That's why you need to be working with a book designer that knows what they're doing. Okay. We have in 4 weeks, literally just given you all of the information that you need to write and publish a book in 30 days, literally. If you have been following our teachings for the last 30 days, if you've shown up every Tuesday for the last 30 days, you have what? Been able to write and publish your book. You needed to determine your outcomes. You got to understand 2 things: impact-related goals and income-related goals. Where am I making a difference and how am I making dollars? Who is your book for? Who is your book for? Who are you writing your book to? You have to understand your avatar. Once you're able to understand your avatar, just like we talk about in my own book, I'm going to go to the chapter right now. Now it's time for you to plan your book content. You have to plan your book content, but before you can do that, you have to create an expert framework so that you know what you're actually talking about and why you're doing this. The framework sets the framework essentially for your introduction and for the rest of the chapters. Once we plant the content, now it's time for you to do what? Create your chapter outline. Now it's time for you to go in and create your chapter outline. And we're going through this literally in the same way that you could be going through this. If you had a copy of the Writer's Game book, click below in the description. Then it's time for you to create a writing plan. Now, how do we plan this out? How do we, how much time should I be writing? When should I be writing? What should I be writing? All of these different things. Accelerate your writing by leveraging the Writer's Game method, where you are dictating it, transcribing it, leveraging the softwares that we have recommended. They're also in the description. And then leverage the editing tools, or just send it to a professional editor. At that point, you're ready to take your book to what? You're ready to take your book to publishing. ISBN, book cover, front, back, and spine. You need your book description. You need your author bio. You need that get connected tool, okay? You need your ISBN in the barcode. Internally, you need your table of contents, your book dedication, your acknowledgments, all of these different chapters outlined in the way that you need them outlined and organized. These are the different things that working with the Writer's Game, and this is why you need the book. This is why you need the book. So what questions do we have? What questions do we have? Today was very simplistic. Today was very to the point. Today was very to the point because at the end of the day, if you followed steps 1 through 3, parts 1 through 3, part 4 is literally you just teaching and delivering the content. What I want us to do right now, and again, what I want us to do right now is I want you to subscribe to the channel. Because yes, we've written the book. We've gotten the book ready for publishing, but what comes next? How do you pre-launch? How do you launch? How do we market? How do we build a business? How do we do all of these different things? Where that starts is by you going and getting the book. Because in the last 100 pages, I think, oh my God, the last 100 pages, literally, the last 100 pages are all about launching, making money, building a business, creating visibility, getting speaking engagements, getting brand deals, all of these different things so that you can take your story and be able to scale it to generate higher income, to be able to scale it to increase your visibility, to be able to scale it, to be able to scale your company, to be able to leave your 9 to 5, to be able to build the life that you desire to live. At the beginning of this series, I asked the question. I said, if you lost your voice today, that thing that you give advice with, that thing that you've helped people with, that thing that you minister with, whatever it is that you do, if you lost your voice today, what have you built that can speak for you? What have you built that can speak for you? Yes, we're focusing on making more money, creating more sources of income, getting assets, investing, all of these different things. But where are the blueprints that we can pass down from generation to generation? Generational wealth will one day run out, but generational knowledge, generational information, generational blueprint, leveraging a book is all that can help the next generation of leaders, the next generation of your children, and the next generation to be able to have the information that you have, the experiences that you have, the significance in your story that you have. And remember that your story is someone else's survival guide. Your story is someone else's survival guide. And if you don't write it, who doesn't reach their calling? If you don't release that book, who doesn't live within their purpose? Your obedience is attached to somebody else's destiny. And if you aren't obedient and remain planted where you're supposed to be and operate in your purpose to release this book with the world and to give them the information and the experience and the education that you have taken inside of you, if you don't pour that back out, who doesn't grow? Who isn't nurtured? Who isn't empowered? Who isn't motivated? Who isn't inspired? And instead of thinking about you and your fear and the insecurity and the doubt and the self-limiting beliefs, I want you to think about all of the people that need your story right now. I want you to think about the book that you needed when you were going through that process. I need you to think about the book that you needed when you were going through that pain. And I want you to write that book. And I want you to leverage part 1, part 2, part 3, and tonight's part 4 to be able to write your book in 30 days and share it with the world. Guys, I love you guys so much. We will see you guys for a new series dropping next week. If this is your first time, like, subscribe, and comment. Subscribe to the channel. Drop the comments below. I love to see them, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you guys next episode. Later.